All right, something that I did in between the lessons is I added a zombie like knockout animation. This is for the boss zombie. And what I'd like to do in this lesson, because right now we have it where we can move around. I also lowered the chase distance for this zombie, so we could, we could walk around, we could shoot these other zombies. But this particular guy, I'd like to have him walking, attacking and all that. And if you forgot where the essentially where to adjust the perception, so for how far you can go to chase, if you go to AI perception here, you'll see sight radius. I changed it to 800 to 1,000. Remember, by default, it was 3,000 to 3,500. So what I'd like to do at this point is just do some more setup. I'm inside the animations folder for my boss zombie by creating a blend space. And inside that blend space, we could go between our idle to walk and all that stuff. All right, so I'm just going to right click in here and go to animation and then animation blueprint here. And let's see, or animation blend space rather. And I'm just going to name this, well, let's make sure we select our zombie boss rig skeleton here. And I'm going to name this BS for blend space underscore boss zombie. And now we have our blend space that's based off of this. Let's also go ahead and open this up and dock it in our scene. Now, what I'd like to do, you see it says none and none. So for the horizontal axis, I would like to make this, call this speed. And then for the maximum value, I'm going to make it 600. Now off on the left-hand side here, you should see zombie idle. I'm just going to drag that all the way to the left corner. And that's going to be roughly at 0, 0. So if you click on that, you can also change the speed to 0. And then let's make sure I select that again. And then the none, which is the up, I'm going to change that to 0 as well. I'm actually thinking, let's make this a little bit easier. Let's change this to 300. And then what we'll do is we'll take our idle and we'll make our walking at essentially, let's see. So if we get down here to about 300 on the speed, let's select that. We'll keep none at 0 because we're going to do like a 1D blend space here. Then when we get to 300, and remember, if you hold command, you can go between your idle and then it'll slowly move into the walk. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's save this and just close this for now and go back into our animation folder here. And let's go in here and go and create an animation blueprint. And we want to base this blueprint off of our zombie boss rig skeleton. And again, animation blueprint AB underscore boss zombie. Maybe we do animation. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so let's make sure we save everything. Let's hit save all here. All right, let's go inside of our animation blueprint here. And then inside of the event graph here, what we want to do is we have our pawn here, right? And I'd like to get the velocity. So this is similar to what we did before. So just drag this out, type velocity. And then from this, I'd like to get the length. And this is going to give us the speed in which we are essentially moving. The character is moving. So as our character chases after our player, we're going to get the velocity and we want to get the vector length. And this is going to give us that value from 0 to 300. So if it hits the 300 speed, then our zombie will walk, gets there. If it hits, if it's at 0, it'll just sit there and idle. Now what I want to do is for the return value here, I want to promote that to a variable, and I'm going to call this variable current speed. And now we're actually saving off. I'm going to make that public so we can edit it if we need to from other blueprints. But now what we have is that vector length is constantly updating and it's being set in a current speed. Now something else we can use to really specify what states is something called an enum or enumeration. Now what this is a way of getting Unreal to recognize words as numbers. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to make a list of states inside of an enum. So let's go over here for a second. And we might have to, well, we'll just do it all inside of here for now. And I'll right click inside of here. And then you want to go to blueprint. You want to create enumeration. And I'll just name this E underscore for enumeration. boss zombie. And inside of here, all we'll do is we'll double click inside here and we're going to add 3 enumerations. So this enumeration here, maybe we'll do 4. Let's see. We'll do this for idle / walk. And then this could be attack. And then this one would be knockout. And then actually, let's get rid of this one right here. Save that. All right, let's go ahead and close this out. And inside of our zombie blackboard, let's see, over here, we need to create a key or essentially a variable that's going to store those different states. So we're going to click on new key here. We're going to create a enumeration key. And we're just going to name this current state. And let's save that. Now to connect this to our eBoss zombie here enumeration that we created, we want to make sure that the type here, or the let's see, that the key state is eBoss zombie. And if you, sometimes it clicks off. So if you select current state, just double check that that's set up. And you can see that they have the values that we typed in: idle, walk, attack, and knockout. So let's save that. All right, we can close this out now. And let's go back to our animation blueprint for our boss zombie, which is here. And we have this, we're getting our pawn owner here. So what we can do is just drag this pin out. We could type blackboard. And this will give us access to the blackboard that's attached to this character. And then from here, we want to get the value of the enum. So actually, I'm going to just type in enum and see what pops up. There we go. Get value as enum. Oh, that's set value. Get value. And the way to access this key name here is we drag out from here, and we just type literal, and we make literal name. And what I'm going to paste in here is current state. Because if you recall, back in our, let's see, let's save this. Let's go back and open up our blackboard. Our enum's name is current state. So we're grabbing that value here. So this is the current state for that enum. All right, so what I would like to do is promote this value that's coming out of here to whatever our current state is, right? So I'm going to right click on this promote to variable, and I'm going to name that local AI state. All right, so let's wire this up. So from here, I'm going to drag out an is valid. So is valid, not the function. So we want this guy down here. And then we can drag this in here.